brown-skinned guy.
You didn't even say Mexican. You said Hispanic.
Hispanic. You don't need to go down. There's too many other facts.
And there's too many other
damning
liberals,
information.
lying liberals who are just going to pounce all over that and try to label you as a racist.
Right. And they're already trying to do it, and it's not sticking. None of the stuff that...
I don't think it'll hurt him bad, but people like us who we're already so far down the path, we're not going to suddenly change our mind on voting for. But and this is not enough. There has to be a cascading failure of lots of gaffes all at once, or really, really bad gaffes for us to go down that road. You are listening to smithradio.com. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/smithradio. That's spelled with a Y, by the way. That's SMYTH. Twitter, our handle is at smithradio. And you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, which is iHeartRadio.smithradio.com. You can call in if you want to be a part of the program at 513-888-1538.
And we were talking about Trump and a couple of gaffes this week that happened. The first one was the judge. He said he was Hispanic. Okay, don't need to go down that road. Too many other facts and figures.
He's a corrupt judge.
To show how corrupt he is. And we've got some great listeners, and you can get on the message board and message us as well. And Sam Keels, one of our listeners, has said that the lawyer for the plaintiff worked for La Raza back in the day, and the law firm works for Black Lives Matter, La Raza. So there's a lot of corruption going on, but don't go down the Hispanic road. And then the other one, I mean, I don't. Is the media piling on this gaffe? Are they getting on this one?
Well, the thing about Trump being racist. Now, here's the problem. The next gaffe also is race related. But when you got two race-related gaffes in 1 week, it could be a little bit troubling. Because now, I'm not saying that, Trump's a racist. No, I don't believe that at all. But when you have two race-related gaffes in 1 week, then the narrative can start to be formed.
Right,
to go against it.
They use the Play-Doh and they start to mold it.
Yeah, right. It's they can create the news that way.
Right.
And so this gaffe is he's at a rally. I believe this one was Redding.
Yeah, Redding, California.
Yeah, so he's at this rally, and I don't even really know the context of it, but one of his supporters who was in the audience was black, and
possibly, or at least we didn't see a picture of him, but he may identify that day as a black man. Because you can choose your race now, by the way.
Especially if you're white and you want to be black, you can identify as black, and then you can, unless you get found out. Like the woman with the dreadlocks.
Well,
the weave. I'm sorry.
They're saying that they're welcoming her into the fold. That's fine.
Really?
Yeah, because
she was like the president of the NAACP,
that chapter out there that she was in.
Right. And turns out she wasn't. They had no.
Her mom called her out.
Yeah, that's right.
And started putting up pictures of her, a little white girl.
Yeah, with blonde hair and everything. Oh my gosh.
Come on, people. That's racist to want to.
I don't know. She could do whatever she wants. It's just a cultural
Michael Jackson
thing.
did it.
Well, his might have been disease related.
Whatever.
He had that skin thing.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe.
Well, whatever. So anyway, so he calls this black supporter in the audience my African American.
I got the sound clip.
Let's hear it.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
So this has caused firestorms everywhere, not just on the internet, but,
Really?
MSNBC has been having whole panels go to war with each other over this, and it's been interesting.
Well, we have a take on it, and I've lived in different parts of the country, and so has Carrie.
I grew up in an inner city public school. I went 13 years inner city public school, not just part of the Cincinnati Public School District, but also during a time when they just piloted when I was either in first or second grade, a integration program where they would bus black kids from majority black neighborhoods into schools that were in majority white neighborhoods so that they could balance out the number of blacks and whites in all the schools. In fact, they even told my mom that they wanted to bus me across the city to go to a majority black school, which she protested, and turns out they changed her mind and let me stay at my local school. But
so when you were in the second grade, I was in the fifth grade, sixth grade, somewhere around in there, and I was graduating that elementary school to go on to junior high, and my parents up and up sold the house and moved to a completely different district because of the insane nonsense. Because when you're busing inner city kids in to a different area that they don't know, it's just ripe for problems.
Well, here's what the real problem with integration with regards to school. Human beings are territorial. In fact, I will easily make the argument that human beings, if you want to refer to us as an animal, I don't believe in evolution. That's a whole different other. But let me go down that road and call us an animal. Human beings are the most territorial species on Earth. Period. Hands down. There is no other species, no other living thing on Earth that's more territorial than human beings.
How many fences do houses have?
The fences, the fact that that America is such a happy country with land ownership, which a lot of countries, the government owns all the land and they tell you where you got to live or whatever.
And that's the
you don't get to own the land.
That's the special, unique thing. Another unique thing about America, and that's what makes Americans so, as you said, happy.
Right.
It satisfies that natural territorial instinct.
And let me walk through a thought experiment real quick here, just to illustrate just how territorial we are. Okay, so if you go into a park or a forest, like a national forest or a state forest or whatever, and you're walking around, you know that nobody particularly owns that property anywhere, or the state or the city owns it, or whatever. You never feel uneasy about walking into an area with other people and all that kind of stuff, right?
No, of course
not. Totally natural, just walking around.
Right.
If you're on the streets, you could walk down any street you want, no problems, right?
Yeah.
And everybody close your eyes and tell me through your, brain waves, what does it make you feel like to imagine yourself being asked to walk into a stranger's house?
Whoa.
How does that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable that you might not physically be able to do it.
Check this out.
That's how territorial human beings are.
We had been looking, the wife and I had been driving around looking for a house for years. And every once in a while, we'll come up on a house that's abandoned. There's nobody's living there. And the back door or the sliding door is not locked.
Okay.
And she's the kind that, let's go look.
It's an abandoned house?
Well, no, it's not. I mean, there's nobody living there, so it's abandoned, but it's for sale.
Oh, so somebody owns it.
Yeah, somebody owns it, but
there's a difference between owning the property or a property being owned by somebody.
Or abandoned.
And a property where somebody's actually living there. Even if they're not home.
Right.
You could know that they're not home.
I can't do it. No, me, instantly, all of a sudden, it's just... all of a sudden I hear sirens and cops in the background.
Yeah. But no, even if you knew that the cops weren't coming,
I don't want to walk in and see somebody in there. No.
And then the feeling you get knowing what they must feel when they see a stranger in their house.
Oh, yes.
And then you could reverse the thought experiment. Reverse it. Put yourself on your couch in your living room and imagine somebody just barges in, and when you look over and look at them, you have never seen that person in your life. How does that make you feel?
I had a freak incident one time where I thought I
must have been L.A.
Yeah,
it was in L.A.
Well, everybody's got bars on their windows out there.
Oh, right.
So
you don't even need that around here because people feel so uneasy walking into somebody's house.
Home Depot's #1 top selling item is a steel reinforced screen door. So, and the screen part is sheet metal with holes poked in it.
Oh, okay. So you would have to. You almost need a crowbar to get into that.
Oh, you would have to bash away at it. Okay, so I see out of the corner of my eye. It's late in the evening. I see somebody walk past the back window. Whether it happened or not, I never found anybody out there. But the thought of somebody walking in my yard past my window.
You can go into your house.
I'm telling you, I grab the gun, stake the place out, walk around. What are you doing walking in my backyard?
You know why, Brian? Because you're a human being, and human beings are extremely territorial.
I didn't have that, though, as a child. As a young teenager, we walked through everybody's backyard. Now, today, I'm walking with my kids, and they start to cut through somebody's yard, or I see, I could cut through here to that. I can't do it.
Yards are a little bit different.
But I can't do it because I don't want to cut between the guy's house and garage because I'm cutting the corner of a street to make it faster, and he sees me.
I would think of all the old people. Get off my lawn!
Yes!
You know, those old people.
Yes!
So that is my our little demonstration of how, and this is important.
Absolutely. It's critical to know, to understand about property rights in America, just in general.
And the reason it's important is because when you go to school, if you get bused across town to some strange school that you've never seen before, none of your family members in the past or present go to that school, you're not going to have that territorial attachment to it.
Right.
And you're not going to care about it. You're not going to fight hard for it in a sporting event for it. You're not going to maybe even go to you probably aren't even going to buy spirit wear.
No.
So the whole integration program was doomed from the start.
Correct.
So I think it's very important because of the human nature that you should go to local schools. And now you know why. Nobody's ever made that argument before.
No, it's critical.
It's exclusive here on Smith Radio. Seriously, it's flat out.
Well, that's what you get when you listen to us. You get the thought experiments, you get the facts, you get the figures, you get straight talk, and it's coming.
Yeah. Those kids that got bussed around to an area of a school that was not their neighborhood, they never really cared. The only reason they played sports is because they really loved those sports.
Right.
But they didn't care whether they won or lost. They didn't care what colors they were wearing. They didn't care about the neighborhood that they were trashing by throwing garbage out, on the ground or, all that stuff. There was no pride whatsoever. So that's why.
And we are discussing Trump's
the African American. Well, we got off on a tangent there.
Yeah, we did.
So we said African American. We were trying to point out that hey, we know the culture.
Right.
I definitely know the culture.
Right, and then even so in that culture, if you are down with it, like my whole thing was, I told Carrie, I said if he owned it and said, look, there's my, my boy. There's my boy's up there. Yeah, just own it.
Boy is a dog whistle for black people because when you say the word boy, they've seen a lot of movies about slavery.
Oh, and they loved it. Hollywood loves to trash that.
So Hollywood's created this thing where white slave masters called black people or white racists in the South,
right
after slavery was abolished or whatever, would call black men, adults, boy.
Oh.
And so it became this thing where it just was really racist. So when a white person ever refers to a black person as boy.
What if he said my homie?
Well, I think he could have got
homeboy. What about homeboy? But they don't use that anymore, do they?
That's kind of antiquated. It goes back to the
80s, 90s?
Early 90s,
okay.
mid-90s. Homeboy, what's up, homeboy? Maybe even 80s.
Yeah.
You go back to the early stages of rap when everybody's calling each other homeboy back in the day.
Then they changed.